You know what time it is, Leo?
It's showtime. Ow!
Dude. Not on camera, got it?
Give me a second, he's gotta do his hair.
Dude, I told you look. Alright, we're going. We're going. See, he looks fine. You can't stress out so much about your physiognomy, man. You're bumming me out. How's it going? I'm Schizofacto. This is Leo. I want to start off by saying thank you to Midnight Playtime for letting us use this music in this stream. Helps keep it a little fresh, so it's not just my ramblings a lot of the time. And yeah, but before we get started with everything, I just want to preface, I have tried recording this. I did a couple test streams, got everything good to go. Now, I also did about an hour 15 last night, and Spotify started playing some copyrighted music after my Midnight Playtime stopped playing. And so I kind of had to kill the stream. Kind of is what it is. I'm not too concerned because I'll probably leave the first stream up anyway. I might take it down. I don't know, just because I'm gonna go over everything again. I was planning on just having that be part 1, but we're just gonna do it all now. And the plan is we're gonna play some games while we learn how to program. So my main goal is to instill what I've learned by teaching it to other people. This works in two ways. I need to get better at teaching, and what are the odds of? Sorry, my images are linking up. This should not be possible. This should not be possible. What is happening right now? It's going to the same slide. They're different. Hold on. What's going on here? Yeah. Okay. My bad. I think my OBS was just acting up, and it was literally just doing the same too. Okay. Sorry about that. I forget where I was. But we're gonna be reviewing HTML because I'm trying to get better at explaining things, getting them out of my head, and able to help people out, right? Already said that. So what game are we gonna play? Come on, OBS. Bloons Tower Defense 6. One of the greatest games ever made. As of late, my opinion, as well as Leo's, has been wavering on the direction that this game is taking. Obviously, the main things is, they just add maps and a random tower here and there, maybe a paragon. But we're not huge fans of a lot of stuff. What do we get? There it is, add it to the stack, baby. This is just, I mean, why don't they just call it? Why don't they just come out with Balloonatro or something? Why don't they just like directly copy a deck building roguelite? Or like, if they're gonna chase this trend, just be a little more transparent about it. There were better roguelike mods 3 years ago than this. I'm not paying $10 for it. You can if you want to, but in my eyes, that's only to support Ninja Kiwi. If this is your first impression of the game, I apologize. This is a great game. This is a phenomenal game. You got all sorts of heroes. If you played Bloons TD5 in school, right, on the unblocked unblocked gaming sites, this builds on that quite a bit. It's a lot more advanced in that there's not 2 paths, there's 3 paths for everything. There's not 4 tiers, there's 5 tiers. There's basically 64 iterations of each tower that can kind of exist. And we can look at those right now. In our Insta-monkeys. So for instance, yeah, see, there's all sorts of different towers we got here. The art style changes up on a lot of them. The art is really what separates this game from a lot of tower defense games. That and popping balloons it's just such a perfect mix. So I was actually wondering about this yesterday because I almost beat the Odyssey before I realized what was happening. And what's Battle Cat from Masters of the Universe, dude? Can you earn these? You gotta be able to earn them. If you can't earn them, I don't know what to tell you. Oh, and just so you know, I am a true lover of this game. Creator support code SJB, because screw all of you who support any other creator than SJB. Super Jumbabo's the GOAT. Now, getting to what we're actually here for. 7.5 minutes in. I'm gonna have timestamps. You're gonna be able to skip through this if you really want to get to the actual programming part. But I thought it'd be fun to just kind of do a little testing, since I'm actually kind of trying to do this and it's not just half-assed like last night. Just to show you kind of what we're gonna be working with when we go through things. You know, we got a lot of hypertext markup language stuff to go through. Don't even stress. This is nothing, right? This is less than nothing. The main thing is I wanted to make something that reinforces this. And this is the best thing I could come up with. So, and it's probably not the most efficient because I'm doing this instead of spending time programming. And to that I say, you gotta live a little. But since we're gonna get this thing started, I need to preface by saying that I'm gonna be using the freecodecamp.org review notes for HTML. I find that these notes will go in depth for everything we need to cover, and especially if you know absolutely nothing, like some of my friends that might eventually tune into this VOD or streams in the future. It's kind of more in depth than I would like for my own types of, right? I have my own notes that I like to go through and use, but so much of programming isn't notes. It's not memorizing, it's not reviewing, it's practice and getting what are the cliches? Getting your hands dirty, all that bullshit. Dude, one thing I will say about programmers is they're filled with cliches, and I really wish they weren't. So hopefully maybe I can bring some of that to this space. Now, we gotta play Bloons while we do this, though. So, what would be a fair challenge? I did the Odyssey yesterday, which hard chimps on high finance. You didn't get to see any of the build up, but honestly, it was easy enough. I don't know if I really want to do high finance chimps right now. So, instead, the race would be dumb. Like, it's trying to do this in the race at the same time. Just burn a race pass and just... I mean, Leo would have to be playing for that one. And, I mean, look at him. He burnt all his energy. Literally, all of it. Trying to... What was it? Dude, Raining Blood? Yeah. This guy thought he could FC Raining Blood, and I mean, he's literally frozen stiff ever since he tried. Raining Blood, if you don't know, is from a game that he's playing up there. I hate explaining jokes, but I also am schizophrenic and realize that some people might not get what I'm talking about all the time, so I have to over-explain things. I do that sometimes. Deal with it. And my schizophrenia. This boss doesn't seem too bad. I kind of bailed on doing it yesterday because I didn't feel like doing 1-2 tree. I don't. Oh, 200% health. Anything restricted? No. You think we can do the boss? You know what? We're gonna try the boss. We're probably gonna fail, but it's a challenge, right? So, I mean, I gotta go Benjamin for econ. There's not really much of a choice. Which skin though? That is a choice. I mean, if you're using the Code Monkey skin, obviously you could use the Code Monkey skin since it's right. We're doing HTML, but we're gonna go with Bento Ben, and we're just hopping right in. I'm gonna turn auto start off. I know this is gonna take forever, but we might have fun, and we might actually beat the boss this way. So, I guess this will also serve as a little tutorial if no one's ever played Bloons before. Look, oh, we're popping them. We're popping them. Hey, that was pretty easy. Does it get harder? Yeah. So, I mean, we can't even get farms for a couple rounds. I probably should start going to HTML. I don't care if we leak any lives right now. We gotta get going on this. So, the role of HTML. Now, I'm stopping this right now. This is not gonna work with me going back and forth with the auto trying to do this. We're gonna need. Let's just do our dailies. I still gotta get plenty of these. 6 to 60, easy. I don't want Ben. Since we're doing the beginning, I'll do Sada. We'll get harder as we go. Don't worry. I'm not a cheese master with all this. There we go. And almost 15 minutes in, we're actually ready to start talking about HTML. Fantastic. So as I said before, HTML stands for the Hypertext Markup Language. What does that mean? Well, just know it's not a language. So the role of HTML. HTML represents... Oh, I didn't turn on auto start, did I? Classic. So, HTML represents the content and structure of the web page. HTML elements. Elements are the building blocks for an HTML document. They represent headings, paragraphs, links, images, and more. Most HTML elements consist of an opening tag and a closing tag. Note, if you're just listening, these tags are denoted with less than and greater than symbols encasing the name of the element, with the closing tag having a backslash at the start of the element name within the tag. I'm also going to explain things in case people are listening. I'm going to try to do that as much as possible. Here is the basic syntax for how you would do that. So you'd have your opening tag with your element name, and then you'd have your content, and then your closing tag would envelop your content. Some elements are void elements. So void elements cannot have any content. Dude, Sod is so goated. Void elements cannot have any content and only have a start tag. Examples include IMG and meta elements. Notice, the IMG and meta elements only have an opening tag. But it's common to see some code bases that include a / inside the void element, and both are acceptable. So you could just have an opening tag IMG, or you could have an opening tag IMG that ends with a \. I usually do the one that ends with a / just because I feel like it helps organize things a little more, and you don't have to be like, is this a void? Did I forget to add a tag? Maybe that's training wheels, I don't know. Attributes. An attribute is a value placed inside the opening tag of an HTML element. Attributes provide additional information about the element or specify how the element... What is this? Oh, never mind, sorry. Or how the element should behave. I'm going to say it one more time. Attributes provide additional information about the element or specify how the element should behave. Here's the basic syntax for an attribute. So within your opening tag for your element, you would have your attribute equal to a value. Now, I'm saying equal. You can think of it as assigning, right? You're assigning value to the attribute. And then you have your closing tag, and you have your content in between all that. Now, a Boolean attribute, that's the type of attribute. Hey. Before we get into this, can you try to guess what a Boolean attribute is? I could give you an example. Leo, true or false? Electric types suck dick. True. There's a bool. So, a Boolean attribute is an attribute that can either be present or absent in an HTML tag. If present, the value is true, otherwise it's false, right? So when you mention it, it makes it true, and then when you're not mentioning it, it's just always false. Pretty easy. Very simple. Amazing. And I'm just gonna throw down a little tutu village here. You know what? Let's indulge. Now, comments. Comments are used in programming to leave notes for yourself and other developers in your code. Here's the syntax for a comment in HTML. You'd go less than, and then you do some. So you go less than, exclamation point, and then dashes, and then you do dashes, and then close with a greater than tag. Sorry for the audio listeners. It's very straightforward if you can see it. If you don't know how to leave a comment, just Google it. Feel free to leave a comment or chat below if you're tuning in. Common HTML elements. Heading elements. There are 6 heading elements in HTML. The H1 through H6 heading elements are used to signify the importance of content below them. The lower the number, the higher the importance. So H2 elements have less importance than H1 elements. Here's a really good way to look at it. H1's the most important, H6 is the least important. Figure out the rest. Paragraph elements. This is used for paragraphs on a web page. It's as simple, right? If you've ever seen a blog, it's as simple as just doing a P opening tag and then writing out your paragraph. It's really simple. Great way to get all your, all your info that you copied off chat Jippity or whatever the hell people are using. I actually have to say, I switched to, I had a Samsung and I switched to a Pixel 9 Pro. Gemini is pretty cool. They just added a thing called VO where it can make 8-second videos. it's so they're pretty bad, but like the image generation's pretty good, and the fact that they have video generation is, I mean, I was pretty blown away. It sucks, but like I'm pretty blown away that I can do it in like 1 to 2 minutes. Like, also, um, I'm no I moving on. So IMG elements are important. These are image elements. Sorry, I keep getting distracted by Bloons and like there's nothing to focus on. The IMG element is used to add images to the web page. The SRC attribute is used to specify the location for that image. This, you should take note of this, that IMG uses SRC attribute to specify the location. Other links will use href. IMG uses SRC. For image elements, it's good practice to include another attribute called the alt attribute. Here's an example of an IMG element with the SRC and alt attributes. So as you can see, we have our IMG followed by an SRC attribute with a link, and then we have an alt of a slice of lasagna on a plate. Can anyone guess what that picture probably is? Don't patronize me. So, body element. This element is used to represent the content for the HTML document. Just know, you know what? So, body is used to represent the content for the HTML document. It's very straightforward. Section elements. This element is used to divide up content into smaller sections. And yeah, so it's very helpful for smaller sections, big dubs. But you know what's even more helpful than sections? Divs. And we'll get into divs right after we say what's up. Now, this might be a fun little break here to try to figure out, is this advanced challenge 16,000? You know, we'll give it a shot. The advanced challenge live. It's gonna be fun. Oh wait, is it something with a Zeely? Wait, round 80, can I just... Wait, what am I doing? What am I doing? Oh, no, I can't. Oh, this is embarrassing. This is gonna waste way too much time. I'm gonna quit early. So... Hold on a second. Nothing. Nothing. Yeah, no, this isn't working. What if I just dump everything into Zeely? No. It's not gonna do anything. Can I get a first strike? Okay, I can. That's interesting. It's in your range. Okay. I think we just have to time this. Oh, we didn't have to time it. Hey, we did it. Let's go. Advanced challenge my ass. That was nothing. I wasn't sweating for a second. I didn't think it was a Zeely. We got a co-op challenge. Hey, that could be fun. I can just pass whoever all my money. That could be fun. Please. Please. I think I'm stuck here. This is not good. And I've messed up. I messed up big time. Okay, we're good, we're good, we're good. We're not doing co-op. I'm not getting caught in there. So what can we do? Hey, look at this, spa pits. We're just gonna run through spa pits. Especially because we're gonna be running through this HTML stuff. This is probably the most efficient way you can black border a map. So I don't understand how this map works. I'm gonna run it through one time, send it up Main Street. Just kind of think for a second. Okay. Oh. Huh. I'm not sure I'm grasping. I'm not sure I'm grasping this. I think I got it. I see. Wait, what? They have to go all the way back, dude? Okay. I'd say less. Alright, we're getting to divs. We're getting to divs. Don't worry, don't worry. We're getting to the div. Oh. Right after that. So we just talked about section. The section element is used to divide up content into smaller sections. Useful. Right, if you wanted like headings and paragraphs, and it's very useful. Div elements, though, this element is a generic HTML element that does not hold any semantic meaning. It is used as a generic container to hold other HTML elements. A div can be whatever you want it to be. It could be like, you could make this picture, this picture using divs, right, and styling them with CSS. But like a div, you can manipulate a div into being kind of whatever you want. It can also just divide things up, right? So we can use it just like the section element. Anchor elements. The A means anchor. These elements are used to apply links to a web page. So if you geeked out on hyperlinks when you were younger like I did, this will be right up your alley. The href attribute is used to specify where the link should go when the user clicks it. So our anchor elements it directs you to another place. Pretty cool. And it's as simple as just, you go your opening tag for A, you have an href attribute set to where you want the link to go, and then you'd have your closing tag, but then inside between the two tags you'd have your content, and your content is going to be underlined unless you mess with the styling, and you're going to be able to click it and then go to that href link. Fantastic. Phenomenal. We can't be stopped. The golden blue! No. 2 monkey money. Like I know what I'm doing. Unordered and ordered list elements. To create a bulleted list of items, you should use the UL element with one or more LI elements nested like this. Oh, I didn't think my mouth would get this dry from talking. Oh. So here's an example using an unordered list. So you have your opening tag for UL, and then way down you have your closing tag for UL, the unordered list, and indented inside the UL you just have all your list elements. So each one is LI. You have catnip, laser pointers, lasagna, you know. To create an ordered list of items, you should use the OL element. Ordered list. Don't worry about using ordered list. Yeah, you can use it if you want to, but who makes an ordered list? It's the exact same thing as unordered list. You just want to indent your list elements inside of your ordered list element. The emphasis, the EM element. This is used to place emphasis on a piece of text. We got a monkey pirate. Oh yeah, wait. I did want to do this on a on a stream or something. Check it. Oh, like it's nothing. We got the Spike Factory Paragon. Imagine grinding, having to grind to get that Paragon. Imagine not just having the raw XP. Couldn't be me. So, the EM element is used to place emphasis on a piece of text. So, within your paragraph, right? Let's say your paragraph says cats love lasagna, and you want to emphasize the word love. Well, then you just put EM and your closing EM around the love, and it will be emphasized. Strong importance element. It's just strong for the element name. This element is used to place strong emphasis on text to indicate a sense of urgency and seriousness. Let's go. So for instance, within your paragraph, you have a strong element around the word important, or like warning, or duck, or anything that you want, like, that you want strong emphasis on, or strong importance. And it functions the same way as the EM element. So now, before we get into figure and fig caption, I don't plan on using SATA for every single one of these. That'd be, I mean, it'd be free, but Etienne's fun just for camos. You know what? We'll go bookworm. Primary only. Oh, this actually works great. Just put him down. Not sure why I didn't start. And we're going. 40 rounds to go. So now we're back to figure and fig caption elements. So the figure element is used to group content like images and diagrams. The fig caption element is used to represent a caption for that content inside the figure element. So inside your figure, right, similar to our unordered list and ordered list, your figure kind of envelops the figure is the scope of everything inside of it. That was a really bad way of explaining it. But so inside your figure, you're gonna have your IMG, which is the actual image, your figure, and then under that you have a fig caption, and it's gonna say whatever you want it to say. In our example here, we're also using the strong importance element on cats hate other cats. So hate will be strongly emphasized within as the caption of the image. Make sure you put fig caption inside the figure. Don't just put a paragraph below the image, right? That's why this is useful. So there are two parts to a page. There's the main and the footer. So the main element, this element is used to represent the main content for a web page. The main is everything. I would think of things as the main is everything that the footer isn't, and there's metadata and stuff like that. Don't worry about that. But the footer element, this is placed at the bottom of the HTML document and usually contains copyright information and other important page links. Get a little Morglaves action. So the best way to explain what the footer is, if you're a rabid, frothing at the mouth individual who's just been filling out job applications, you feel possessed to do so, like you're not even sure why you're doing it, but you just keep filling out application after application, you might always scroll to the bottom of a website and then click on careers, right? There's just like a career section at the bottom. That's the footer. If you're trying to troubleshoot something, right? You're like, hey, Microsoft, why'd you lock me out of my account? Oh, well, come down here to the FAQ. Where's the FAQ? I just zoom right to the bottom of the page and look for frequently asked questions. Sometimes it's up top. I don't always know to look there, but I always know to go to the footer, right? Because footer's cool for that kind of stuff. It's just like a TLDR. Just give me the link I want. And it's really easy to, this is just what the footer looks like. It's really simple. It's just like any other part of your HTML page. So now let's talk about identifiers and grouping. Right after oh, thank God. So IDs, unique element identifiers for HTML elements. ID names should only be used once per HTML document. It's not, if you don't know anything about CSS, IDs are going to be annoying. Or sorry, not just CSS, JavaScript as well, but IDs are annoying to wrap your head around why you would even bother with them until you start doing a lot of other stuff. But just know IDs are helpful for both collaboration, for like, and also reminding yourself what the thing is if you don't necessarily have like an interactive, or if you're making like a lot of edits to something, right? Or I forget if I said you're collaborating with other people and it's like, hey, what is this? Oh, this is this thing, right? Only I know that this is this, but because it has this ID, or you know, maybe if it's an image, that's what alt text is also good for. I'm bad at explaining things. So ID names cannot have spaces. If your ID name contains multiple words, then you can use dashes between them like this. Let's say you have a div for a red box. You go div ID red dash box and your closing tag for the div. It's that simple. Classes. Classes are used to group elements for styling and behavior. I'm gonna wrap up classes before I switch over to this. So if you wanted to give a div a class of box, all you have to do is say div class equals box. Very simple. I know, right? But it gets way cooler. It gets 50 million times cooler when you actually can mess with classes and stuff. And we're just kind of going over the first few things. If you do know how to do all that stuff, then hopefully you're maybe nodding along or banging your head or something, because I'm not explaining it properly. So unlike IDs, you can reuse the same class name throughout the HTML document. The class value can also have spaces like this: div class box space red dash box, div class box space blue box. Fun fact about using spaces with your class: they're different classes. So you can have a box class, and you can have a red box class, and a blue box class. It might be annoying to style the red box and remember the exact same way it's sized, for instance, or maybe even positioned as the blue box. By setting a class of just box to be, you know, very specific things that you want universal for everything that, I don't even want to use the word inherit quite yet. You can have multiple classes, and it's very helpful. So just know when you use a space, you're indicating that it's a different class name altogether, but you can have, right, this is in box class and red box class. Cool. Oh, this is gonna be harder than I thought. Okay. Luckily we're on to deflation. So I'm just gonna do a quick deflation setup, and if you know anything about deflation, you just set it, forget it, and then in 5 minutes you find out whether you won or lost. So we'll do a little double discount village, and then give me that guy. Give me Big Al. He's always on the case. And lastly, is that on both? Oh, it's a shame. We'll go this, sell this, do this, and I'm screwed. I don't think I thought this all the way through. And we're good, I believe. Yes. Alright. If that loses, I have no idea how that could possibly lose. Special characteristics and linking. HTML entities. An HTML entity, or character reference, is a set of characters used to represent a reserved character in HTML. Examples include the ampersand symbol and the less than symbol. The ampersand symbol is denoted by the ampersand symbol and AMP followed by a semicolon, and the less than symbol is an ampersand LT semicolon. So for instance, you could say in a paragraph element, this is an ampersand LT semicolon IMG backslash that, like, I hate trying to describe this to audio listeners. Yeah. I'm just gonna read it one more time, then we're gonna go to the next thing. An HTML entity, or character reference, is a set of characters used to represent a reserved character in HTML. Examples include the ampersand and the less than symbol. Link element. This element is used to link to external resources like style sheets and site icons. Here's the basic syntax for using the link element for an external CSS file. Link rel equals style sheet. href equals styles.css. Dude, I know. Like, I think, like, there was, like, 40 times in a day I wrote that line one time. Like, oh, free code camp really makes you write that line a lot, let me tell you. So, but you're never going to forget how to link your style sheet. Never. You'll never forget how to link your style sheet. That's CSS, though. So, the rel at... Oh, wait, I should probably go over this with the link elements. So, yeah. You use a rel and an href. Href is the link, and then rel is the... I figured it was like... This is actually a good question. What is the rel stamp? Hey Gemini, what does the rel in a link? What does the rel attribute in a link element do? Yeah. Ah, relationship. That was better than what I was gonna say, so I'm glad I asked. Now fuck off, Gemini. Stop listening. So, the rel attribute... Oh. Fuck me. The rel attribute is used to specify the relationship between the linked resource and the HTML document. The href attribute is used to specify the location of the URL for the external resource. Phenomenal. I'll just go fuck myself. Script element. This element is used to embed executable code. it's, yeah, you you can use the script element to embed executable code. Right here we have an alert that pops up and says welcome to Free Code Camp. So while you technically can write all your JavaScript code inside the script tags, it's considered best practice to link to an external JavaScript file instead. Here's an example of using the script element to link to an external JavaScript file. It's as simple as script, and inside your script tag, src source equals path to JavaScript file.js. I mean, that's easier than the style sheet, right? Like, okay. The src attribute is used here to specify the location for that external JavaScript file. Awesome. This is actually funny. This is exactly where I got... Oh, no. I'm very sorry. The music stopped playing. Hopefully that wasn't for too long. Sorry about that. I think that was when I asked Gemini. I'll double check that later. I'm sure it's fine. Yeah, we beat deflation. What? What hero did we go this time? Oh, we'll go Churchill. Why not? I do like Churchill. I think he's underpowered though for what he provides. I'm gonna make it rain free dart monkeys until I can afford Churchill. And so I can kind of get going on this. Boilerplate and encoding. Hey, okay, it's 12:08 in the morning, or 0008. Wait, why does that look like? Oh. So, HTML boilerplate. This is a boilerplate that includes the basic structure and essential elements every HTML document needs. You'll see the following: exclamation point, doc type, HTML. HTML lang equals en. Don't forget that one. I always do. You'll have a heading element and all this. I'm not going to explain all of it because we're going to explain it right here. And I'm not going to make an ass of myself like I did last time trying to do this. Doc type. This is used to tell browsers which version of HTML you're using. HTML element. This represents the top level element or the root of an HTML document. To specify the language for the document, you should use the lang attribute. Head element. The head section contains important metadata. These elements have details about things like character encode. These elements, there we go, have details about things like character encoding and how websites like Twitter should preview your page's links and more. Title element. This element is used to set the text that appears in the browser tab or window. So like up top in the tab, that's what the title is. That'll kind of be up there. Gotta get Churchill down. Give me a boat. Yes. Give me a sub. Give me a sub. Give me a sub. Give me a sub. Not you guys on Twitch or whatever. Just I need my sunky mub. Yeah. Okay. UTF-8 character encoding. It was a train wreck when I was trying to remember what this was yesterday off the top. So UTF-8 or UCS transformation. UCS transformation format 8 is a standardized character encoding widely used on the web. Character encoding is the method computers use to store characters as data. The char set or char set attribute is used inside of a meta element to set the character encoding to UTF-8. It's also one that's easy to forget, but do it enough times, it sticks out like a sore thumb when it's not there. SEO and social sharing. Search engine optimization, or SEO, is a practice that optimizes web pages so they become more visible and rank higher on search engines. That's crazy. I thought you just paid money. Meta description element. This is used to provide a short description for the web page and impacting SEO. Used to provide a short description for the web page and impacting SEO. Okay. So here's an example of a meta element. Name, description, content. It's gonna have that content for the search engine, and yeah, it's gonna be helpful. Actually, wait, I forget if this is specifically what you see like outside on the page, like where it'll be the link and then there's a description. I think that this might actually be what it is. So like, if you saw this link, this is what would be below it in like that kind of grayed out text or whatever. I don't know that for sure though. Oh, isn't it phenomenal I'm doing this? Open Graph Tags. The Open Graph protocol enables you to control how your website's content appears across various social media platforms, such as Facebook, LinkedIn, and many more. Holy crap, we were just cruising. See ya. Can I get a village? Please. Please. Fit. Please. Oh! Hold on a second. I mean, you see this, right? How is he not in there? That's not fair. What? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Did I put this guy in the perfect spot to not get hit? No, I want... Ah, this sucks. Well... I'm just putting down a double shimmer, because I don't really want to worry about... Oh, it's round 60 anyway, it doesn't really matter. Anyway. Back to... Yeah, I know if I didn't have the sunglasses on. Yeah. Say it. Yeah, you don't want to say it. I didn't mean to yell. So, Open Graph Tags. The Open Graph protocol enables you to control how your website's content appears across various social media platforms such as Facebook, LinkedIn, and many more. By setting these Open Graph properties, you can entice users to want to click and engage with your content. You can set these properties through a collection of meta elements inside your HTML head section. So for instance, the OG:title property, this is used to set the title that displays for social media posts. So you might have in a meta element, content equals freecodecamp.org. Also, I just wanted to mention this. I probably should have mentioned it at the beginning. I have no earthly idea why anyone would subscribe to this or donate money to me for doing this. So if at any point you feel like doing that, consider giving it to freecodecamp.org instead, so millions of people can continue to learn to code for free. That's all. And so inside this meta element, sorry, content equals freecodecamp.org, property equals OG:title, right? It's very simple, very simple. So then there's the OG:type property, The type property is used to represent the type of content being shared on social media. Examples of this content include articles, websites, videos, or music. So you might have meta property equals OG type, content website, or content music, right? Do we take it down? With ease. Wait, do I have my accessibility turned down? No. Whoa! What is this? What is this? A colorblind setting? I've never seen something so beautiful in my life. So high contrast, colorblind, high contrast, and colorblind. Bear with me 1 second. I need to see what colorblind looks like. Like, and then high contrast. What, so is it like... Maybe I... Shit, maybe this is the ultimate colorblind test. I can't tell the difference. Hold on. I mean, that obviously looks different. I guess, now that I think about it, this was annoying. Trying to see the difference between it being red and clear as someone with a color deficiency, that was annoying. But in terms of the actual colors, they don't seem that much different. That's cool, though. Oh, hey, look, there's a Twitch button. If you're a Twitch partner or affiliate, you can create loadout polls. Oh, that's cool. Maybe some other time, try to figure that out. That could be fun. I'm gonna set it back to default, though, because, oh, wait, what's this? Ambient map effect? Oh, yeah, that's cool. That's fine. Alright. I was just making sure the accessibility wasn't turned down, because my wizard, like, shot a thing and I didn't even see the thing pop out. Change hero. So we're on the OG image property. Alright, we'll finish. Actually, we're just about at the 1 hour mark. I need to take a quick break. I will be right back. Don't worry. But in the meantime, don't buy any FDs. Save your money. This will just be a second. That's right. Your favorite. What do you mean? What? My apologies. I didn't know that this scene didn't have the music going. That's my fault. We're learning. So, just gonna take a little break. I didn't eat for a minute and was getting a little, low blood sugar or something. I don't know. But one important thing, I'm gonna try not to eat into the mic, but I just realized something that I think is kind of interesting. All of my teachers growing up that I really liked and I learned the most from, I was like attracted to, right? Like I thought they were hot. And then the older I got, the harder the stuff became and the less attractive the teachers got. And I think that did impact my ability to to learn as well as I did beforehand. I'm not saying I couldn't, right? But it was easier for me to apply myself when I was like, "Oh, dang, like I can't let her down, man. Like that'd break my heart." And I there's absolutely no truth to any of that, but you know, just a little peanut butter sandwich thought. Oh, of course. Thank you, OBS. Nice. Oh yeah, what hero do we want to go with for the next one? I think we're gonna do. Let's go Pat. Winter's gone. Kaiju Pat's fun. That's fun. Reverse with Pat. I feel like. Oh wait, and they start over here. That's so funny. A little. How far can you get? That's nice. Cruising, and we're back. We're actually back to the HTML again. We just went over the OG type property, and now we're on the OG image property. Note OG:image is the proper syntax. This is used to set the image shown for social media posts. So in your meta element, you might have content equals, and you have a, you have a link to your image. And then property equals OG:image. I know what you might be thinking. Is it really that easy?
Yes.
Is all programming this easy?
You should probably quit now.
So, OG URL property. This is used to set the URL that users will click on for the social media posts. Meta property equals OG:URL, and then content is the website you want to use. In this case, freecodecamp.org. And it's really that easy. Now, let's talk about media elements. Sorry, this peanut butter sandwich is slowing my brain down. Media elements and optimization. Replaced elements. A replaced element is an element whose content is determined by an external resource rather than by CSS itself. An example would be an iframe element. Iframe stands for inline frame. It's an inline element used to embed other HTML content directly within the HTML page. You might have your iframe source example.com, title equals example site, closing tag iframe. So it's an inline frame. That's an inline element used to embed other HTML content directly within the HTML page. Fantastic. You can include the allow full screen attribute, which allows the user to display the iframe in full screen mode. So in your iframe, you have your source for your URL. You can set the width and height to whatever you want, and then you can say allow full screen. Leo's got a pop quiz for you. What kind of attribute is allow full screen? What kind of attribute is allow full screen? Notice we don't have it assigned to anything or any value assigned to it. Therefore, it's a bool. Very good. To embed a video within an iframe, you can copy it directly from popular video services like YouTube and Vimeo. Yeah, and Facebook and MySpace. Or define it yourself with the SRC attribute pointing to the URL of that video. Here's an example of embedding a popular free code camp course from YouTube. You have your heading 1, right? Very high priority heading. The highest. A free code camp YouTube video embedded with the iframe element. That's the end of it. But wait, below that we have the actual iframe. We have the width set to 560. Any guesses as to 500, what that number represents? We have the height set to 315. So we have the width and height set to these numbers. Who knows what they are, right? We have our source set to our YouTube video. A title of YouTube video player. We have all sorts of wacky allows in here with accelerometer, autoplay, clipboard right, and don't worry about all this stuff. A refer policy. Don't worry about that for now. Allow full screen. And that's it. This is how you would embed a YouTube video. By the way, the 560 and 315, these are pixel units. So it's 560 pixels wide, 315 tall. Fantastic. And we allow it to go full screen. What are we, NASA? There are some other replaced elements such as video and embed. And some elements behave as replaced elements under specific circumstances. Here's an example of an input element with the type attribute set to image. Oh god. Input type equals image. Alt equals descriptive text goes here. SRC equals example image URL. That's just how you use an input. With a type set to image. Yeah, so in that case, since it's input type image, it's going to ask for an input of image. Kind of maybe think of some examples where you've done that using other websites or software maybe. Optimizing media. There are 3 tools to consider when using media, such as images on your web pages. These commas, man, they trip me up. There are 3 tools to consider when using media such as images on your web pages. The size, the format, and the compression. A compression algorithm is used to reduce the size for files or data. So we need to worry about the size, the format, and the compression. And compression just reduces the file size. It's very necessary. It's not necessary, but it's very helpful. Image formats. Two of the most common file formats are PNG and JPEG. But these are no longer the most ideal formats for serving images. Unless you need support for older browsers, you should consider using a more optimized format like WebP or AVIF. I have had some problems with WebP in the past. I'm sure it's all on my end, but I'm probably still just on my Windows 7 heyday. Sorry, I don't mean to tune the mic. There we go. Dang, we got 34,000. Pirate Lord! Image licenses. An image under... You're the Pirate Lord. Okay. Image licenses. An image under the public domain has no copyright attached to it and is free to be used without any restrictions. Images licensed specifically under the Creative Commons I think it's a 0 or O. I'm guessing it's a 0 license, are considered public domain. Some images might be released under a permissive license, like a Creative Commons license or the BSD license that Free Code Camp uses. SVGs. Scalable vector graphics track data based on paths and equations to plot points, lines, and curves. What this really means is that a vector graphic, like an SVG, can be scaled to any size without impacting the quality. And believe it or not, this was the exact point yesterday I realized that I was playing copyrighted music, and we got this far without doing it. So, big ups. Military only. Who's worthy? Military only. You know, I own everything. I gotta spend it, I guess. How do I have 44 of 43 skins? Saying it. Wait, whoa. You're telling me I can only get the She-Ra skin by spending real money? What has this game come to, dude? Oh my god, this game... No monkey money option? Are you freaking kidding me? That's insane to me. We're gonna go with Rosalia. I haven't used Rosalia too much since she got introduced, so this will actually be fun. And we're also on to multimedia integration, which will be a blast. Oh, that's a big footprint. I'm sure it's a garbage spot. What can you do, Rosalia? Oh, there is one thing I want to do, because I have the bones on right now. Give me my... There it is. Enable. And we're right back in. Whoops. Classic. Cool, okay. Rosalia's gonna do the thing. There we go. Multimedia integration. Audio and video elements. The audio and video elements allow you to add sound and video content to your HTML documents. The audio element supports your popular audio formats like MP3, WAV, and OGG. The video element supports the MP4, OGG, and WebM formats. Audio, SRC, equals crystallize that inner child.mp3. What the? Excuse me? So the source is crystallize that inner child.mp3. And yeah, that's how easy it is to use an audio element. If you want to see the audio player on the page, you can add the audio element with the controls attribute. So if you just want it to be playing, you don't need the controls. But if you want people to be able to kind of mess with it, I would suggest adding the controls. What kind of in case you're brand new. Muted attribute. When present in the audio element, the muted Boolean attribute will start the audio in a muted state. Audio. Loop controls muted. Right there it is. It'll just start muted. And because we have the controls, if you want to hear it, boop. It's on you, pal. Source element. When it comes to audio file types, there are differences in which browsers support which type. To accommodate this, you can use source elements inside the audio element, and the browser will select the first source that it understands. Here's an example of using multiple source elements for an audio element. So you have audio controls, and then you have your sources inside, right? Now, can anyone tell me what the audio controls element is? What the hell is this element? We were doing audio before. What's audio controls? And why didn't it say audio controls at the bottom tag? Alright, I'm gonna mute up and take a couple bites while you think on that. Ayo. Got peanut butter mouth. There it is. So, as you can see, I was just fucking with you. The controls attribute is just the Boolean attribute, and it, just trying to get you used to seeing how simple it can look when it's thrown there. And we have our three sources for the OGG, WAV, and MP3. And you don't have to do this. You can specify the type next to it right here, like in the example. I forget. Yeah. Okay. All the attributes we have learned so far are also supported in the video element. Here's an example of using a video element with the loop, controls, and muted attributes. So we have the source, loop, controls, muted, video. So simple. Poster attribute. If you wanted to display an image while the video is downloading, you can use the poster attribute. This attribute is not available for audio elements and is unique to the video element. Oh, look at that. There's a little JPEG, a little
thumbnail for you. Generation betas next?
That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's fun making fun of other generations. Until you kind of realize it's like, elitist for all the wrong reasons, right? Target attribute types. Target attribute. This attribute tells the browser where to open the URL for the anchor element. There are 4 important possible values for this attribute: self, blank, parent, and top. There's a fifth value called unfenced top, which is currently used for the experimental fenced frame API. You probably won't have a reason to use this one yet. Note, the self, blank, parent, and top values, as well as the unfenced top ones, have an underscore before the word. So underscore self, for instance. The underscore self value is the default value for the target attribute. This opens the link in the current browsing context. In most cases, this will be in the current tab or window. So you don't have to set target to self if you want it to stay in the same window, but you could just for, if you felt like it. So here's an example in our anchor element. We have a href linking us to freecodecamp.org, and it'll keep us in the same tab. But I want to go to a new tab. Well, you can use the underscore blank value. This opens the link in a new browsing context. Typically, this will open in a new tab, but some users might configure their browsers to open a new window instead. I see why they mentioned it like that. And so, again, it's just as simple as in your anchor element, having target be underscore blank. We'll get to parent value in a second. I didn't even notice what Rosalia did there, but, didn't die. I already used soda once. I'm not doing that. I want to use Brickle later. We'll go, dude. Striker Jones. Are you kidding me? We'll go Biker Bones. All right. This is Apocalypse. Starts as soon as you hit play. Whatever. See if I give a fuck. Obviously, mortars would be fun here, but that's the thing with Striker Jones. You get mortars and cannons, and it's like, I see the problem. It's not even that phenomenal. But I think he is better than he was at launch, because no. I think they nerfed one of the things with his levels. Or maybe it was a buff recently that I'm thinking of. It was just worse before. I don't know what I'm thinking of. I'm not a huge fan of Striker Jones, obviously, but we're gonna make it work. So we're on to the parent value of the target element. We're talking about the target element. So underscore parent value. This opens the link in the parent of the current context. For example, if... Wait, what? Hold on a second. We are going to go to this real quick. And I'm going to just do a little check. I don't know what happened. It's saying the stream reset or something? That could be annoying. That could be really annoying if that actually just happened. I don't think it did. Maybe I'm just tripping. I gotta get to the bottom of this. Hold up. So it's saying like 11 minutes ago, the stream just stopped. This is so confusing. Why would it... Because it's saying... Okay. No. Okay. So we are going, but it's broken up. That is a little annoying. I was trying to get it all in one. That's okay though. We can break it up. Again, sorry if you're tuning in. It broke the stream up for some reason. Very confusing. I have a feeling it was something with maybe I had no audio coming through or something when I hit that break. I don't know. But let's just get right back into it. Oh, that's funny. There we go. The parent value. This opens the link in the parent of the current context. For example, if your website has an iframe, a parent value in that iframe would open in your website's tab/window, not in the embedded frame. Same thing as our previous anchors, right? We just have a target set to parent. The top value. This opens the link in the topmost browsing context. Think the parent of the parent. This is similar to parent, but the link will always open in the full browser tab/window, even for nested embedded frames. Wait, hold on. This is saying the stream is still going. Okay, no. This is technically a full... I have been going for an hour and a half, but the stream did reset. Okay. I know I'm so fixated on that. This is similar to parent, but the link will always open in the full browser tab window, even for nested embedded frames. Phenomenal. Target equals top. That's all it takes. Now let's talk about absolute and relative paths. Path definition. A path is a string that specifies the location of a file or directory in a file system. In web development, paths let developers link to resources like images, style sheets, scripts, and other web pages. Path syntax. There are three key syntaxes to know. First is the slash, which can be a backslash or a forward slash, depending on your operating system. The second is the single dot, and finally we have the double dot. The slash is known as the path separator. It is used to indicate a break in the text between folder or file names. A single dot points to the current directory, and two dots point to the parent directory. So for instance, public slash index.html dot slash favicon.ico double dot slash src slash index.css. Absolute path. Oh boy. Can you do anything? Please. Oh, I guess it is Apocalypse now I think about it. Oh, it's so funny. It's An absolute path is a complete link to a resource. It starts from the root directory, includes every other directory, and finally the file name and extension. The root directory refers to the top level directory or folder in a hierarchy. An absolute path also includes the protocol, which could be http.https. Oh wait, those aren't dots, those are commas. It could be HTTP, it could be HTTPS and file and the domain name if the resource is on the web. I'm going to say that one more time. That was tough. The root directory refers to the top level directory or folder in a hierarchy. An absolute path also includes the protocol, which could be HTTP, HTTPS, and file, and the domain name if the resource is on the web. Here's an example of an absolute path that links to the Free Code Camp logo. So we have an anchor element that links to a Free Code Camp SVG image, and the text simply says view FCC logo inside. But you can see in the href our link is an absolute path. Relative path. A relative path specifies the location of a file relative to the directory of the current file. It does not include the protocol or the domain name, making it shorter and more flexible for internal links within the same website. Here's an example of linking the about.html page from the contact.html page, both of which are in the same folder. Right? You have your href, it's just about.html. Wait, that's way easier than writing those big long websites. That's what we'll kind of find. Oh boy. Link states. Alright. Trying to get ready for this. I'm a little discouraged that the stream reset, but we'll figure it out later. Good timing on the W. We're now ready for hard mode. And what better way to start hard mode? We'll go with Psy. He's sick. Can't even start with him. Bullshit. I keep using the boat. It's lame. Give me Psy. Get the strong ones for me, bud. Cool. Let's talk about link states. So, colon link, just to get the syntax correct. This is the default state. This state represents a link which the user has not visited, clicked, or interacted with yet. You can think of this state as providing the base styles for all links on your page. The other states build on top of it. Dude, it's... You just keep trying... This guy sometimes, dude. Always trying to distract me at every single turn. Triple dart monkey. Alright. Yeah, the other states all build off the link element. Now we're on to visited. Colon visited. This applies when a user has already visited the page being linked to it. By default, this turns the link purple, but you can leverage CSS to provide a different visual indication to the user. Colon hover. This state applies when a user is hovering their cursor over a link. This state is helpful for providing extra attention to a link to ensure a user actually intends to click it. Actually it looks pretty nice. Hover was one of the first things that kind of got my gears turning. Learned about this HTML nonsense, this framework, this framer that I mean it's barely more than Squarespace. Focus. This state applies when we focus on a link. Also, I don't mean to act like HTML sucks by any means. It's awesome. Totally awesome. Active. This state applies to links that are being activated by the user. This typically means clicking on the link with the primary mouse button by left clicking in most cases. And I just want to note the focus, focus, that's for, imagine if you're like tabbing through, right? You're just like tabbing through different parts of the web page. The focus is going to be if you're tabbed to it. That's going to be what's focused on. Cool. So that was basic HTML, believe it or not. And we're on to the semantic HTML part. And so now we have to decide if we want to keep going or not. Oh, hey, what's up? Juicy J, biggest fan. I doubt you're Juicy J's biggest fan, honestly. But I don't know what language you're speaking, but what's up, man? I believe you're definitely a Juicy J stan with a name like that. Wait, has Juicy J come out with anything lately? I'm trying to think. Let's just keep going. Who cares? Right? I don't got nothing better to do right now, besides actually learn some new stuff. Semantic HTML review. Yeah, the upcoming quiz, sure. Importance of semantic HTML. Structural hierarchy. Let's try that again. Structural hierarchy for heading elements. It is important to use the correct heading element to maintain the structural hierarchy of the content. The H1 element is the highest level of heading, and the H6 element is the lowest level of heading. Presentational HTML elements. Elements that define the appearance of content. Example, the deprecated center dot... Oh, dude. Maybe I should break this up. No. I gotta focus. Presentational HTML elements. Elements that define the appearance of content. For example, the deprecated center, big, and font elements. Semantic HTML elements. Elements that hold meaning and structure. For example, header, nav, figure. Semantic HTML elements. Header element. Used to define the header of a document or section. Main element, used to contain the main content of the web page. Navigation section element, or the nav, represents a section with navigation links. Figure element, used to contain illustrations and diagrams. Right, if you've ever seen like, oh, figure 2B or whatever. I guess it's textbooks. Not thinking about it. Emphasis element, EM, marks text that has stress emphasis. Never give up on your closing tag M dreams. Idiomatic text, I element, used for highlighting alternative voice or mood. Idiomatic terms from another language, technical terms, and thoughts. You know, we're just gonna load and decide. It's always fun. Yeah, idiomatic text is good for highlighting alternative voice or mood, idiomatic terms from another language, technical terms, and thoughts. There is a certain, right, we use the I element, with the lang set to French, FR, je ne sais quoi, in the air, right? If you're trying to say, there's a certain je ne sais quoi in the air, you might want je ne sais quoi to be, what is it, idiomatically expressed? Right. The lang attribute inside the open I tag is used to specify the language of the content. In this case, the language would be French. Oui, oui. The I element does not indicate if the text is important or not. It only shows that it's somehow different from the surrounding text. This is what I kind of think of I like a div of text where it's just kind of, you can kind of use it for whatever. The strong importance, strong element, we already talked about this one, right? Marks text that has strong importance. Warning. And warning surrounded by our strong tags. This product may cause allergic reactions. So the warning is going to be emphasized. Bring attention to, the B element is used to bring attention to text that is not important for the meaning of the content. It's commonly used to highlight keywords in summaries and product names in reviews. Cool. Right, so in this example code, yeah, they just have like all different products surrounded by bring attention to tags or B tags. Can I see my, there it is. Give me $1,000. Oh, there it is. Me when I'm trying to figure out who to vote for and contact Elon Musk. Description list element, or the DL element, is used to represent a list of term description groupings. Description term element, DT, is used to represent the term being defined. Description details element, the DD element, is used to represent the description of the term. So for example, you have your big description list, and within that list you have description description terms, not tags. You have description terms, and under those you have description details. So you have a descriptive term, and then a description detail, and then a description term, and then a description detail. It's that simple. Block quotation, block quote element, is used to represent a section that is quoted from another source. This element has a cite attribute. The value of the cite attribute is the URL of the source. So for example, you have your block quote, cite equal, okay, so I said src and href, but cite is another one. So we have cite equals, and then, you know, you have a little freecodecamp.org site, how do I explain it? I don't need to explain it. It's very straightforward. Citation cite element is used to attribute the source of the reference work visually. Marks up the title of the reference. So in your block quote, you got a cite, and then you might have some text in there, right? Oh, I see. And then, sorry, under the block quote, you could then have a paragraph that then references like the author, and then you can include your cite tags around text. Yes, all right, this actually makes a lot more sense. You'd put the cite tags around the content that you would want to be referenced back to, and that link could therefore the citate. I'm not gonna beat myself up. I need to figure out a better way to explain this. Instead of skipping through it. I'm skipping through it. Inline quotation Q element. I'm just gonna do that because I feel like I'm over explaining things that don't need more explanation. Used to represent a short inline quotation. So in a paragraph, as Quincy Larson said, and you have a little quote, a Q. Site equals your site. Momentum is everything. And so you have your, as Quincy Larson said, and then there'll be quotes, momentum is everything. And then you have your site inside that quote element. The abbreviation element, ABBR, is used to represent an abbreviation or acronym. Our Lord. To help users understand what the abbreviation or acronym is, you can show its full form, a human, readable description with the title attribute. I'm going to say that one more time. To help users understand what the abbreviation or acronym is, you can show its full form, a human readable description with the title attribute. So for example, you'd have ABBR title equals hypertext markup language, and your content being HTML, and then the ABBR closing tag is the foundation of the web. And so it's, I'm trying to think of scenarios where this would actually be useful instead of just like, it's useful. So there's a contact address element. Address is used to represent the contact information. And there's date, time. And date time is used to represent a date and or time. The date time attribute is used to translate dates and times into a machine readable format. So the reservations are for the time, date time, set to 20:00 and then 20:00 time. Now, I would hope that people would know what 20:00 means. It means 8 p.m., right? 20 minus 12 is 8. ISO 8601 date time attribute used to represent dates and times in a machine readable format. The standard format is year, month, date, followed by T, and then hours, minutes, seconds, with the capital T being a separator between the date and time. So it'll go year dash month dash day T HH, right, for your hour, colon MM for minute, and colon then SS for second. T just separates the date and the time. The superscript element, sup, is used to represent superscript text. Common use cases for the sup element would include exponents, superior lettering, and ordinal numbers. There's not enough balloon poppage happening for me to feel like I'm learning. Also, balloon rat. What do you think? You're right. We'll go magic first. And we are going to rock with Psy again. Because Psy is that guy. And I honestly didn't use Psy too much until I got to start getting to some of the harder maps. Because like you can use any hero on these beginner maps, right? It'll work. Cool. So the sup element is used to superscript your text. I'm not here to give you a lesson on what superscripting necessarily is, but for instance, 2 and then 2, but the second 2 has a superscript tag around it, it'll be 2 squared with the little 2 above. And then you might want to say it's equal to 4. Well, so the subscript element, it does the same thing, except it puts the little number kind of below, right? Below and to the right of the number, or whatever you're subscripting. So subs used to represent subscript text. Common uses for the subscript element include chemical formulas, footnotes, and variable subscripts. Right? CO sub 2. It'll be a tiny little 2. Inline code element used to represent a fragment of computer code. Pre-formatted text. Pre-element represents pre-formatted text. Wow. I'm just learning so much. / I'm just talking to fill time while I squeeze as much Bloons as possible in between doing this shit. Alright. Oh yeah, here's your example code. You got your pre-formatted code text with a body, color red. Oh man, what is this? What am I looking at? No, I'm kidding. This is clearly they're showing CSS code in HTML, and it's a little jarring. Sorry, but this body color red, this is CSS right here, and because of that, we want this to look like code and not just like normal text, and so this is how we would put it in HTML so that it displays it like code. It's just visually helpful. Unarticulated annotation element, U, is used to represent a span. One sec, I gotta out this guy. Is used to represent a span of inline text which should be rendered in a way that indicates that it has a non-textual annotation. So, yeah, that's a pretty good example. You can use the unarticulated annotation element to highlight incorrect spelling issues. And all the incorrectly spelled words are, you know, unarticulatedly annotated. It has a non-textual annotation. That's all it means. Ruby annotation, Ruby element, if you've heard of Ruby on Rails, right, is used for annotating text with pronunciation or meaning explanations. An example usage is for East Asian typography. Yeah, you never do any of that anymore, man. You were a calligraphy master the day I met you. Now it's Guitar Hero this, Fortnite that. So typical. Okay, we're good. Ruby fallback parentheses element, RP, not short for Renaissance periodization, is used as a fallback for browsers lacking support for displaying Ruby annotations. Ruby text, RT element, is used to indicate text for the Ruby annotation, usually for pronunciation or translation details in East Asian typography. So, our example code. Oh no. Oh no, I'm gonna lose. Thanks, Sai. Ruby. You have your... I'm not gonna guess which language this is, because I don't want to make a fool of myself. But you'd have your... Oh, I already forgot it. You'd have your Ruby fallback parentheses element. See, I don't use this Ruby stuff that often. Use the Ruby fallback parentheses element outside your parentheses, and then you'd have your RT Ruby text element of Ashita, which is apparently what these characters mean. That's cool. Been meaning to learn some other languages that don't use, you know, Latin letters or whatever. Or not Latin letters, just English. Or not English letters. Oh, I can't talk. Strike through S element used to represent content that has no that is all right. Let's try that again. Strike through S element used to represent content that is no longer accurate or relevant. Tomorrow's hike will be meeting at noon. We want to strike that through. Nah. We don't want that. Because due to unforeseen weather conditions, the hike has been canceled. So instead of just removing the thing up top, maybe you want to have a strike through and be like, hey, we're not gaslighting you guys. We're not forcing you to stay in the office or whatever. The hike just got canceled, right? Nice. So we're at HTML forms. We're actually cruising now. So the form element is used to create an HTML form for user input. I want the Grandmaster Ninja, but I also want Permabrew. But it's not feasible. But you know it is feasible. Oh, I forgot these guys go in water. That's... Of course they do. They're mermonkeys. Oh, such a W add to the game, by the way. The mermonkey. Form element used to create an HTML form for user input. Action attribute is used to specify the URL where the form data should be sent. Method attribute is used to specify the HTTP method to use when sending the form data. The most common methods are get and post. Some example code of what we're talking about. You might have a form with a value assigned to the method of whatever, and then an action with a value of whatever URL you want assigned to it. And then your inputs would go inside the form element, right? Same thing with the unordered list and everything. You'd have your form, your closing tag form, and everything, all your inputs would go inside the form. The input element is used to create an input field for user input. Type attribute is used to specify the type of input field. For example, text, email, number, radio, checkbox, etc. One thing to keep in mind with radio buttons. I didn't know this or that they were even called radio buttons, but they can, right? Like, let's say I think the best example was like, oh, you're filling out a job application. Do you want to be full-time or part-time? Well, you don't want to be able to click both of them. It'd be nice if you just click one of them and then it would take the other one off when you picked it. Well, if you put radio buttons of the same name, you don't gotta worry about that. And they're called radio buttons. I didn't know that's what they were called. Placeholder attribute used to show a hint to the user to show them what to enter in the input field. So this would just be like John Doe at gmail.com, Leo GameStopium at Uranus.net, right? Value attribute used to specify the value of the input. If the input has a button type, the value attribute can be used to set the button text. Size attribute used to define the number of characters that should be visible as the user types into the input. Min attribute can be used in input types such as number to specify. The min attribute can be used with input types such as number to specify the minimum value allowed in the input field. The max attribute can be used on input types such as number to specify the maximum value allowed in the input field. So if you want to put like, what's, right, enter, right, Final Jeopardy, enter your wager. The least you can enter is 0. The max you can enter is all your stuff, or all your money. So this is a really bad example. I just like Jeopardy. Anyway, the min length attribute is used to specify the minimum number of characters required in an input field. So min length is like min but for strings. Max length attribute used to specify the maximum number of characters allowed in an input field. Required attribute used to specify that an input field must be filled out before submitting the form. Disabled attribute used to specify an input field that should be disabled. Read only attribute used to specify that an input field is read only. And here's our code. We might have a type of text where you can put in some text. We give the input an ID, a unique ID. We give it a name of name. We give a placeholder of Quincy Larson in this example. A size of 20. A min length of 5. A max length of 30. And we make it required, right? You can't submit the form without putting your name in. Are we gonna get permabrew? Thank you. There it is. Jeez. Things I gotta do. And this would be for number input, right? Instead of using the string length, or yeah, we're just using the quantity. Minimum 2, maximum 10. And it's disabled, obviously. Now for a button, you could do input type button, value equals, you know, whatever you want the button to. Oh, I was just gonna say I think it's around 76 and I'm boned. You know, the reason I have this much monkey money is because I don't press continue every single time something like this happens. But I'm just gonna bite it because I know literally that'll do it. Won't even be close. Okay, it's kind of close. Okay, I lost. Again, that was a waste of 400 monkey money. Holy shit. We're gonna continue one more time. This is so bad. This is so bad. Why is permabrew so ass? Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just gonna do that and then put another wall of fire up, but I mean, if this doesn't do it, nothing will. Yeah, okay. Man, this is why I don't like the wizard. I mean, I like the wizard, but alright, the label element is used to create a label for an input field, right? We were just talking about input labels, or inputs. And so label will just make a label for the input so people know, like, hey, you should put your email here. For attribute is used to specify which input field the label is for. Implicit form association. Inputs can be associated with labels by wrapping the input field inside the label element. It's very interesting. So, for example, your form has an action set to empty. Label is full name, and then you have your input, and then you end the label, and then you end the form. See how this label, the text will go before the input element. That's good. Unless you want it to come after, then you can do it that way. Explicit form association. Inputs can be associated with labels by using the for attribute on the label element. This is the better way to do it. Label for email, email address, end label. And then below that, you could have input type, email, ID, email. So it's going to label this input element because it's the label's for email, and our ID right here is email. Wait, we just found something useful to use the ID for. Awesome. Back up. Double HP Moabs. Alright, let's get Psy out of here. Let's rock Ben. Let's rock Ben on double HP. This is gonna be a breeze anyway. Monkey. Sub. Wait. Another sub. Give me another sub. Cool. Wait, why did I do that? I need to get Benjamin rolling. Oh, God. Yeah. Button element. Used to create a clickable button. A button can also have a type attribute, which is used to control the behavior of the button when it is activated. For example, submit, reset, button. So, for example, button type equals button. Show form. Button type submit. Submit form. Button type reset. Reset form. It's very simple. Field set element is used to group related inputs together. Legend element is used to add a caption to describe the group of inputs. So for example, you might have a field set and a legend. Was this your first time at our hotel? And you have like some inputs below. You have your yes, you have your no options. Exactly. And then this would be for a checkbox group. Why did you choose to stay at our hotel? So all these are checkboxes that have to do with this question, right? And so we put it all in the same field set. Focus state. This is a state of an input field when it's selected by the user. Very true. Working with HTML table elements and attributes. So we're about... Not about. We're more than halfway through. So clap it up. 2 hours in. This is the second stream at 51 minutes. God, how'd it get broken up? Pisses me off. Leo, you entertain them for a second. Oh. Oh. I got squat on. Ow. Look at that $5 grand. I didn't have Ben on the ground. What a waste of my. I mean, that's not ROI. This guy. This guy. Oh, I'm messing it up. This guy all the way up here knows about ROI. If you don't know who he is, I would highly recommend inversing any of his stock picks. He's also your dad's favorite stock picker, so keep that in mind. And he was also in Iron Man, so I spent all my money. Alright, at least we have LEDs taken care of. Why didn't I just do this? Because I'm not thinking ahead. HTML table elements and attributes. Table element is used to create an HTML table. The table head, T-head element, is used to group the header content in an HTML table. Table row element tr element is used to create a row in an HTML table. Table header element, th. This is scary. Hey guys. Look alive. The table header element, th, is used to create a header cell in an HTML table. Table body, tBody element, used to group the body content in an HTML table. Table data cell, td element, is used to create a data cell in an HTML table. Table foot, tfoot element, is used to group the footer content in an HTML table. Caption element, used to add a title of an HTML table. Col span attribute is used to specify the number of columns a table should tell you. We're going to go through all these. So this table is going to display some exam grades based on the caption. In the head of our table, we have a table row with headers of last name, first name, and grade. There, now it's over. Okay. And so we're gonna have 3 rows of last name, first name, and grade, and that's the end of our header, right? It's 1 row. I guess you have multiple rows. I don't know. T body element, and so now we have a row. We have Mr. Alex Davis, who got a grade of 54. Must be Canadian. We have, if he's passing anyway. We have a table row of Samantha Doe, who got a 92 on the test. And now we have our last table row of Marcus Rodriguez, who got a score of an 88. And now we have a footer of the table that will calculate the average grade. The footer doesn't calculate the average grade. It will display the average grade. And in this case, it's 78. Goddamn, Alex, you reckon the average score for everybody. And I mean that's tables. We just breezed through it. I said I'd explain it, and then I feel like I didn't explain it, but hopefully we got it. Working with HTML tools. HTML Validator is a tool that checks the syntax of HTML code to ensure that it's valid. A DOM inspector just give me the crossbow master now, please. Oh, it's double HP Moabs. I totally forgot about that. That's why round 40 was weird. Wait, but I have Ben. Oh, I put him down late. Never mind. DOM Inspector, a tool that allows you to inspect and modify the HTML structure of a web page. DevTools, a set of web developer tools built directly into the browser that helps you debug, profile, and analyze web pages. Fun fact, the first bug that got fixed for a computer was an actual bug. That's why it's called a bug. Introduction to Accessibility. Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. The Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, WCAG, are a set of guidelines for making web content more accessible to people with disabilities. The 4 principles of the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines are POUR, which means stay poor. No. It stands for perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. POUR. Not POO. Not POOR. Not POOR like you are, right? Assistive technology for accessibility. Screen readers. Software programs that read the content of a computer screen out loud. They are used by people who are blind or visually impaired to access the web. Large text or braille keyboards. Used by people with visual impairments to access the web. Screen magnifiers. Software programs that enlarge the content of a computer screen. They are used by people with low vision to access the web. Alternative pointing devices. Used by people with mobility impairments to access the web. This includes devices such as joysticks, trackballs, and touchpads. Slight tangent. I remember we had this SpongeBob game that would it was literally just a joystick, and then you would plug it in, right? It had the old AV cables. It would just plug it into the TV, and you would play like these fry cook games. I missed that. I don't necessarily miss having to buy like a whole console to play like a separate game, but that stuff was cool. Just like, yeah, this is the SpongeBob controller where you can only play like the game is the controller and you plug it in. Like it's like its whole thing. Almost like one of those old skateboarding, right? Like those skateboarding simulator things. Voice recognition. Used by people with mobility impairments to access the web. It allows users to control a computer using their voice. Wouldn't that be nice? Sorry. Yeah, that was a little bit of bad taste. Accessibility auditing tools. Common accessibility tools. Google Lighthouse, Wave, IBM Equal Accessibility Checker, and Axe DevTools are some of the... Common accessibility tools. Google Lighthouse, Wave, IBM Equal Accessibility Checker, and Axe DevTools are some of the common accessibility tools used to audit the accessibility of a website. Give me that sub. And better yet, I need a C of these boys back here. And they're not fighting alone. What an L placement. Oh no. But I'll just put down another one. I'll spend $4,000 buffing a $2,000 tower. Just watch me. Accessibility auditing tools. Common accessibility tools. I just said that. Accessibility best practices. Proper heading level structure. You should use proper heading levels to create a logical structure for your content. This helps people using assistive technologies understand the content of your website. You know, Leo raises a fair point. Why should we care about accessibility? Like, well, because, dude, think about it. If you make a website and don't have my colorblindness in mind, I might not be able to experience everything your website has to offer, or your game, or your program, whatever it is you're making, right? So it's important to keep accessibility in mind, asshole. So proper heading level structure is a good example of that. Accessibility in tables. When using tables, you should use the TH element to define header cells and the TD element to define data cells. This helps people using assistive technologies understand the structure of the table. With the caption element, you can write the caption, or title, of a table, so users, especially those who use assistive technologies, can quickly understand the table's purpose and content. You should place the caption element immediately after the opening tag of the table element. This way, screen readers and other assistive technologies can provide more context by announcing the caption before reading the content. And I mean, we're just absolutely cruising through spot pits. I can't believe I burnt any monkey money on this. I haven't done that on a beginner map in forever. Oh, and I picked Ben. No. We're going Brickle on this one. Half cash spot pits? Come on. Come on. Ooh. We're just gonna build some money real quick. Alright. Here's some of our tables. Oh, there we go. Importance for inputs to have an associated label. You should use the label element to associate labels with form inputs. This helps people using assistive technologies understand the purpose of the input. Importance of good alt text. You should use the alt attribute to provide a text alternative for images. This helps people using assistive technologies understand the content of the image. See, I told you. Importance of good link text. You should use descriptive link text to help users understand the purpose of the link. This helps people using assistive technologies understand the purpose of the link. I need $200, jeez. Best practices for making audio and video content accessible. You should provide captions and transcripts for audio and video content to make it accessible to people with hearing impairments. You should also provide audio descriptions for video content to make it accessible to people with visual impairments. Transcript's your job, bud. Okay. Tab index attribute. Used to make elements focusable and define the relative order in which they should be navigated using the keyboard. It is important to never use the tab index attribute with a value greater than 0. Instead, you should use a value of 0 or -1. For more information, review the prior lecture video on keyboard accessibility. I'll try to explain this. So a tab index, you want to set it to 0 or -1. It's really that simple. Access key attribute. Used to define a keyboard shortcut for an element. This can help users with mobility impairments navigate the website more easily. So you might have button access key S for save. You might have button access key C, cancel. Are we getting... Oh, I didn't even... Oh, this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. Elite Brickle. Now we'll be fine. Because I've got a monkey up my sleeve. Yeah, this is just using access keys. Very simple. Alright, where are we at? Oh, we're getting close. WAIARIA or WAIARIA stands for Web Accessibility Initiative, Accessible Rich Internet Applications. It's a set of attributes that can be added to HTML elements to improve accessibility. It provides additional information to assistive technologies about the purpose and structure of the content. ARIA roles, a set of predefined roles that can be added to HTML elements to define their purpose. This helps people using assistive technologies understand the content of the website. Examples include role equals tab, role equals menu, and role equals alert. There are 6 main categories of ARIA roles. You got the sushi roll, the dinner roll, the I'm not paying attention. How'd I pop lids? Brickle is obviously. Cool. The 6 main categories of ARIA roles. You have the document structure roles. These roles define the overall structure of the web page. With these roles, assistive technologies can understand the relationships between different sections and help users navigate the content. Widget roles. Widget roles. These roles define the purpose and functionality. I'm about to lose. Had to burn it. I was not thinking. That was my fault. Camo. I don't know, man. That caught me so off guard. Oh, I have my sunglasses on. Those weren't LEDs. Oh my gosh, that was whatever. Widget rules. These rules define the purpose and functionality of interactive elements like scroll bars. Landmark rules. These rules classify and label the primary sections of a web page. Screen readers use them to provide convenient navigation to important sections of a page. Live region rules. These rules define... Can you please... Okay. These rules define elements with content that will change dynamically. This way, screen readers and other assistive technologies can announce changes to users with visual disabilities. Window rules. These rules define subwindows like pop-up modal dialogues. These rules include alert dialog and dialog. Abstract rules. These rules help organize the document. They're only meant to be used internally by the browser, not by developers. So you should know that they exist, but you shouldn't use them on your website or web applications. ARIA label and ARIA labeled by attributes. These attributes are used to give an element a programmatic or accessible name, which helps people using assistive technologies such as screen readers understand the purpose of the element. They are often used when the visual label for an element is an image or symbol rather than text. ARIA label allows you to define the name directly in the attribute, while ARIA labeled by allows you to reference existing text on the page. That's helpful. Along with this guy, holy... Oh, smokes, dude. Wait, we're cooking. I didn't even realize this was half cache. I actually didn't want to put this wizard right here. But, oh well. So, our button has an ARIA label of search. Cool. And then our input down here has an ARIA labeled by a search dash button. I'm just trying to see if I'm missing something here that I gotta explain. Yeah, I don't understand the purpose. Yeah. So, the ARIA hidden attribute is used to hide an element from people using assistive technologies such as screen readers. For example, this can be used to hide decorative images that do not provide any meaningful content. If you just have, you know, a bunch of stuff in the background, you don't want it going blue dot, red dot, blue dot, red dot, blue dot, red dot, you know, and then it talks about whatever your website talks about. I was gonna make a crass joke, but didn't feel like it. And this is just how you'd use the ARIA hidden. You just set ARIA hidden to true. It's that simple. ARIA expanded attribute is used to convey the state of a toggle or disclosure feature to screen reader users. It's fair enough. Set ARIA expanded to true. It's that simple. ARIA live attribute is used to indicate that an element's content is important enough to require that any changes to the content should be announced immediately to the screen reader users. This can include status messages like updating the number of results returned from a search or an error message displayed after an unsuccessful form submission. So we have ARIA live set to assertive. Your session will expire in 30 seconds. Or, you know, you go more polite and be like, file successfully uploaded. Can I set your ARIA live to polite? Be nice. Common ARIA states. Before I do that. Oh, I didn't do anything. Oh, thank God I didn't do anything. Oh, we're so We're so back. What even is Hapcache? Common ARIA states. Sorry, I feel like my swallowing is in the mic. That's my bad. Common ARIA states include ARIA has pop-up, ARIA checked, ARIA disabled, and ARIA selected. These attributes can be used to indicate the state of an element and help people using assistive technologies understand the content of the website. ARIA has pop-up attribute. This state is used to indicate that an interactive element will trigger a pop-up element when activated. You can only use the ARIA has pop-up attribute when the pop-up has one of the following roles: menu, list box, tree, grid, or dialog. The value of ARIA has pop-up must be one of these values or true, which is the same as menu. So here we have an ARIA has pop-up set to menu, ARIA controls file menu, ARIA expanded false. And then down here we have the file menu, which plays the role of menu. We have an ARIA labeled by menu button, and we have it set to hidden. We set these tab indexes to -1, and these are all menu items. Hopefully you're starting to see. I know you can't see what it looks like on the web page, but maybe you can start to see how things you've already seen on websites might be structured like this, right? That's kind of where I always go first. Just need to double check something. We're gonna go back to, yeah, some of this. Yeah, ARIA checked attribute. This attribute is used to indicate whether an element is in the checked state. It is most commonly used when creating custom checkboxes, radio buttons, switches, and list boxes. Oh, we're so back. And then we'll just alluring melody, please. All right, we're gonna tab over for the make or break moment. Will round 76 absolutely ruin this whole thing? This is Hapcache. It's not nothing's free here. In my opinion, probably harder than chimps at least on certain maps. Definitely harder than chimps on certain maps. Oh, I didn't even. What happened to round 76? You were supposed to be watching for round 76. Where did it go? Oh my god. It was like all my Snapchat streaks when I finally grew up. They just disappeared. Alright. As you can see from this example, we have a div with the role of checkbox. ARIA checked is set to true. ARIA disabled attribute. This state is used to indicate that an element is disabled only to people using assistive technologies such as screen readers. So we have a div role of button with the tab index set to -1. ARIA disabled. True. So it's basically only disabled to people using screen readers, but it would be available to other people, right? ARIA selected attribute. This state is used to indicate that an element is selected. You can use this state on custom controls like a tabbed interface, a list box, or a grid. We have our div role of tab list with different tabs, and so the only thing I'm
This state is used to indicate that an element is selected. You can use this state on custom controls like a tabbed interface like Xbox. I'm guessing the only reason this tripped me up is because it's like, what if they change the tab? That's you can just see from this how ARIA selected is set to true for one tab and false for the others. I'm not sure if it's dynamic, but it would definitely have the first one displayed first, for the people using assistive technologies to know that it's the first tab being displayed. Let's get out of here, man. It is 1:58 in the morning, believe it or not. Wow. Stream's only been going for an hour 19, but it got split into two, so 2.5 hours, dude. Let's go. And now we're on to what? Alternate Bloon rounds. Wait, I still have Brickle. And I don't feel like using Brickle. So how many do we have? I mean, yeah. Oh. Whoops. Hold on. Oh no. Oh wait, you guys. I think you guys can hear that just fine. Hold on. I don't know why my headphones just got so messed up. Hold on. Sorry, 1 second. Well, isn't that just perfect? So, this actually isn't that bad. I might be a little louder now. I don't know how that happened. Maybe I'm just hearing myself, actually. Apologies for the technical difficulties. I really hope the audio isn't messed up by what my headphones are. Yeah, I didn't even do anything. I was just like, that. And it like... Alright, I think we're good. I was just saying, I need a random number that'll... Ow. This one is so... Pick a number between 1 and 14. Apologize for tuning the mic. Every time I ask Gemini to pick a number, you might have seen it on the last stream. Every time I tell Gemini to pick a number, it tells me 7. I have 2 data points, both of them on stream. I'm not sure how that happens, but they said 7. So by God, we're going with Ben for alternate Bloon rounds. So alternate Bloons. I know I'm spamming the boat, but duty calls. Hopefully, I'm just gonna put this guy in. All right, we're actually back to HTML. So ARIA controls attribute is used to associate an element with another element that it controls. This helps people using assistive technologies understand the relationship between the elements. All right, so yeah. 1 second. Yeah, so ARIA controls associates an element with another element that controls it. It's helpful for assistive technologies. And so you have an ARIA control set to section 1, ARIA selected a true. Well, then down here, you might have ARIA controls section 2, ARIA selected false. And then you have ARIA controls section 3, ARIA selected false. Just like our previous example, kind of building on it. ARIA described by attribute is used to provide additional information about an element by associating it with another element that contains the information. This gives people using screen readers immediate access to the additional information. This gives people using screen readers oh man, I'm starting to get tired. This gives people using screen readers immediate access to the additional information when they navigate to the element. Common usage would include associating formatting instructions to a text input or an error message to an input after an invalid form submission. So down here we have our ARIA described by password help. Password help, password must be at least 8 characters long. Oh. So, I know what you're thinking. Did we just go through all of HTML? You bet your ass we did not. We went through it, but we didn't practice a single thing. I guarantee if I asked you if you have a description list, how to make a description list, and you don't already know it, it might be a little challenging. So, it's important that we kind of go over everything one last time. It's gonna suck because I just went through all this. Maybe it won't be so bad for you, but we're gonna go through everything. And how are we gonna do it, Leo? No. Style. Yeah, we're gonna do it with style because too much of programming doesn't have enough aura to it. No matter how much 80s music you want to play, no matter how in the dark you want to get, no matter if you want to talk to your Pokemon and wear sunglasses and then make people question whether you're actually schizophrenic or if you're grifting as a schizophrenic, it's all wait, what were we talking about? I don't know. Let's do this. So, we just went through all this. And we're going to go through it again. Tough. HTML basics. Once again. And I didn't even use Ben. HTML basics. Role of HTML. Foundation of web structure. HTML elements. Used to represent content on the page. Most of them are made by an opening tag and a closing tag. Div elements. The div element is a generic HTML element that does not hold any semantic meaning. It is used as a generic container to hold other HTML elements. Void elements do not have a closing tag, and attributes adding metadata and behavior to its elements with attributes. Identifiers and grouping. IDs, unique element identifiers. Classes, grouping elements for styling and behavior. Special characters and linking. HTML and sorry, I'm going too fast. So IDs and classes, cool, we got it. Special characters and linking. HTML entities using special characters like ampersand amp and ampersand LT colon or semicolon for a less than sign. Link element linking to external style sheets. Script element, script element, embedding external JavaScript files. Boilerplate and encoding. HTML boilerplate, basic structure of a web page, which includes the doc type, HTML, head, and body elements. It should be used as the starting point for an HTML document. The UTF-8 character encoding, ensuring universal character display. Search engine optimization and social sharing. Meta tags, description, providing a short description for the web page and impacting search engine optimization, SEO. Some joke about United Healthcare SEO, not CEO, right? Once again, in bad taste. Open graph tags, enhancing social media sharing. Media elements and optimization. Replaced elements, embedded content like images and iframes. Isn't this crazy? I just don't pay attention. I get a pirate lord. I think if you've never played Bloons like this, it does a really good job of highlighting how just like saving money is really important in this game instead of just spending it every 5 seconds on the next T4 upgrade. Media elements and optimization. So replace the elements for embedded content like images and iframes, optimizing media, techniques to improve media performance, image formats and licenses, understanding usage rights and types, SVGs, scalable vector graphics for sharp visuals. Didn't mean to do that. There we go. Oh, that wasn't bad. Multimedia integration, HTML audio and video elements, embedding multimedia, embedding with iframe, integrating external video content, paths and link behavior, target attribute types, controlling link behavior. The target has self, blank, parent, and top. Don't worry about unfenced top. Absolute versus relative paths, navigating directories, path syntax, understanding slash, dot slash, and the double dot slash for file navigation. Link states, managing different link interactions, hover, active, visited, maybe? I forget all of them. Importance of semantic HTML. Structural hierarchy for heading elements. It's important to use the correct heading element to maintain the structural hierarchy of the content. The H1 element is the highest level of heading, and the H6 element is the lowest level of heading. Presentational HTML elements. Elements that define the appearance of content. Example, the deprecated center, big, and font elements. Semantic HTML elements. Elements that hold meaning and structure. For example, header, nav, and figure. Leo, I'm live right now. I can't describe your figure in the way you want me to, okay? Read the room. Semantic HTML elements. So, emphasis, EM element, marks text that has stress emphasis. Idiomatic text, I element, used for highlighting alternative voice or mood. Idiomatic terms from another language, technical terms, and thoughts. Obey your master. Crossbow master, pulling the bow. Strong important, strong element. Make text that has strong importance. Bring attention to, B element. Used to bring attention to text that is not important for the meaning of the content. Description list, DL element. used to represent a list of term description groupings. Description term, DT element, used to represent the term being defined. Description details, DD element, used to represent the description of the term. Block quotation, block quote element, is used to represent a short inline quotation. Abbreviation, ABBR element, used to represent an abbreviation or acronym. Contact address, address element, used to represent the contact information. Once again, that's the address element, which is used to represent contact information. The date the date time element is used to represent a date and or time. Superscript, the sup element, used to represent superscript text. Subscript, sub element, used to represent subscript text. Inline code element, code, used to represent a fragment of computer code. Unarticulated annotation element, used to represent a span of inline text which should be rendered in a way that indicates that it has a non-textual annotation. Ruby annotation, used to represent the text of a Ruby annotation. Strike through, S element, is used to represent content that is no longer accurate or relevant. HTML form elements and attributes. A form element is used to create an HTML form for user input. Action attribute is used to specify the URL where the form data should be sent. Method attribute is used to specify the HTTP method to use when sending the form data. The most common methods are get and post. Right, we have form method. Value goes here. Action. URL goes here. Inputs in here. We had this one before. This is what it should look like. Well, it'll be bigger, but yeah. Input element, used to create an input field for user input. Type attribute, used to specify the type of input field. Example, text, email, number, radio, checkbox, etc. Placeholder attribute, used to show a hint to the user to show them what to enter in the input field. One thing I want to say about placeholder for accessibility, sometimes people think that it's a value that's already entered and it's not a placeholder. Just something to keep in mind. Value attribute, used to specify the value of the input. If the input has a button type, the value attribute can be used to set the button text. Size attribute, used to define the number of characters that should be visible as the user types into the input. Man, alternate Bloons. That'd say 300,000 pops. Are there 300,000 pops to round 80? Alternate balloon rounds. Duh. Impoppable? We're almost at the end of this thing. No, we'll do it. Of course we gotta do impoppable. You guys might not like this, but I actually never do this, but I'm gonna do it since it's impoppable and I really don't care. Look at all these insta monkeys. I think I'm gonna use an instant monkey. Why the hell not? Are there any cool ones? Yes, this is a very cool one. Bam. And we win. We just win. It's as easy as that. Why? Because I win. I don't want to be crass with some of the references I make. Give me Ben, give me Ben, give me Ben, give me Ben, and then we can finish this, please. Excellent. Sorry, if you're looking for some Spa Pit's actual in-depth, impoppable gameplay, I suggest not coming to this channel. Value attribute. Used to specify the value of the input. If the input has a button type, the value attribute can be used to set the button text. Size attribute. Used to define the number of characteristics that should be visible as the user types into the input. Min attribute can be used for input types such as number to specify the minimum value allowed in the input field. Max does the same thing. Min length attribute. It does the same thing but for strings. It's the minimum. Max length attribute. It's the maximum but for strings, right? Required attribute. Used to specify that an input field must be filled out before submitting the form. Disabled attribute is used to specify that an input field should be disabled. Read-only attribute. That wasn't funny. Read-only attribute used to specify that an input field is read-only. That look good to everyone? That looked kind of in line with what we've been talking about. Cool. So the label element is used to create a label for an input field. For attribute is used to specify which input field the label is for. Implicit form association. Inputs can be associated with labels by wrapping the input field inside the label element. So you have a form with an empty action, and you have this label, full name. I already discussed this. It's the exact same example. It takes an input of text, and there's a label before it that says full name. If you don't have that label, it's just going to be an empty box. Even if you have a placeholder in there, it might be confusing what I'm supposed to put in there. Labels help with that. Explicit form association. Hold on. Hold the phone. And I'm getting a farm. I don't care. I'm not even gonna be able to pick him up. Yes, I will. Well, I won't have to actually. Explicit form association. Ow, ow. Come on. Okay. I had to turn the music up a little bit. I don't know why it was down so low. Hopefully it's not too loud. I should be able to hear it. Explicit form association. Inputs can be associated with labels by using the for attribute on the label element. Okay, wait, I changed my mind. Let me turn it down a little bit. Yeah, it's good right there. Label for email. Alright. Last try. I didn't get any of my bananas like I talked about. And now I'm sad. So now I just gotta get going on this again. Explicit form association. Inputs can be associated with labels by using the for attribute on the label. I just talked about this. Button element. Used to create a clickable button. A button can also have a type attribute, which is used to control the behavior of the button when it is activated. For example, submit, reset, and button. Look, it's a button to type button. It's a button to type submit. It's a button of type reset. Why is there a button of type button? Moving on. Field set element. Used to group related inputs together. Legend element. Used to add a caption to describe the group of inputs. Here's a group of radio buttons. Field set with a legend. And look, you have yes and no. They have the same name, hotel stay. So only one of them can be selected at a time because they're radio buttons. Don't ask any more questions than that, because I sure didn't. Here's a checkbox example. If you want to pause the video and look at it for a second. Pretty straightforward. Focus state. This is the state of an input field when it is selected by the user. Cool. Oh, just past 3 hour mark on the stream. That's crazy. Working with HTML table elements and attributes. Table element used to create an HTML table. Table head element, T-head, used to group the header content in an HTML table. Table row element, TR, is used to create a row in an HTML table. Table header element, TH, is used to create a header cell in my ass. No, sorry, I gotta get this going. So we have the table row, table head, table body, table data cell, and the table foot. The caption element is used to add a title of an HTML table. Col span attribute is used to specify the number of columns a table should span. So we have our exam grades here. Ooh, nice. We already went through this example before. Alex is wrecking the curve, or not the curve, the average. We have the average down here. Perfect. We're at HTML tools. HTML validator, a tool that checks the syntax of HTML code to ensure it's valid. A DOM inspector, a tool that allows you to inspect and modify the HTML structure of a web page. Dev tools, a set of web developer tools built directly into the browser that helps you debug, profile, and analyze web pages. Introduction to accessibility. Web content accessibility guidelines. The Web Content Accessibility Guidelines are a set of guidelines for making web content more accessible to people with disabilities. The 4 principles of WCAG and POUR stand... Hold on, I misread that. The 4 principles of WCAG are POUR, which stands for perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. I will keep my comments to myself. Assistive technology for accessibility. Screen readers. Software programs that read the content of a computer screen out loud. They are used by people who are blind or visually impaired to access the web. Large text or braille keywords are used by people with visual impairments to access the web. Large text or braille keyboards are used by people with visual impairments to access the web. I was actually thinking it'd be, like, I kind of want to learn braille just in case, you know. Like, it'd suck to learn after the fact. I don't know. Screen magnifiers. Software programs that enlarge the content of a computer screen. They are used by people with low vision to access the web. Alternative pointing devices used by people with mobility impairments to access the web. This includes devices such as joysticks, trackballs, and touchpads. Voice recognition used by people with mobility impairments to access the web. It allows users to control a computer using their voice. Accessibility auditing tools. Common accessibility tools: Google Lighthouse, Wave, IBM Equal Accessibility Checker, and Axe DevTools are some of the common accessibility tools used to audit the accessibility of a website. I know I'm kind of breezing through these, but we're just reviewing. Accessibility best practices. Proper heading level structure. You should use proper levels. You should use proper heading levels to create a logical structure for your content. This helps assistive technologies understand the content of your website. You know what? I don't know why I'm doing this so late, but I feel like it.
Yeah. I should get one. Please? Okay, we're good. It'll pay off. Okay, we're good. Whoops. Wait, I actually wonder if I accidentally pressed the hotkey that like ended before. That would actually explain what happened before. But so accessibility best practices. Accessibility in tables. When using tables, you should use the TH element to define header cells and the TD element to define data cells. This helps assistive technologies understand the structure of the table. Importance for inputs to have an associated label. You should use the label element to associate labels with form inputs. This helps assistive technologies understand the purpose of the input. Importance of good alt text. You should use the alt attribute to provide a text alternative for images. This helps assistive technologies understand the content of the image. Importance of good link text. You should use descriptive link text to help users understand the purposes of the link. Best practices for making audio and video content accessible. You should provide captions and transcripts for audio and video content to make it accessible to people with hearing impairments. You should also provide audio descriptions for video content to make it accessible to people with visual impairments. I'm gonna do that again. You should provide captions and transcripts for audio and video content to make it accessible to people with hearing impairments. You should also provide audio descriptions for video content to make it accessible to people with visual impairments. Tab index attribute, I know I kind of glossed over this one earlier, used to make elements focusable and define the relative order in which they should be navigated using the keyboard. It is important to never use the tab index attribute with a value greater than 0. Instead, you should use a value of 0 or -1. Access key attribute, used to define a keyboard shortcut for an element. This can help users with mobility impairments navigate the website more easily. Oh, and you know we're ready for the Bloon exclusion zone. You think, I mean, how's anything getting by tank here? Just keep popping. Just keep popping. Sorry, I wanted to make sure to get at least some Bloons, you know. DDTs. Again, I don't even know what I'm kind of just flexing by spending this money. Obviously, I got the Bez up in the first place, and I'm just kind of cruising now. But what would tie a knot on this thing? Oh, I mean, what do we do? You gotta get the Bloon solver, bro. If you don't know about the Bloon solver, he's the answer to almost every advanced challenge that people come up with in this game. Oh, he's not even in there. Sad. Alright, we'll go back. So, WAI. Oh, what's happening? What's happening? Am I dying? Am I dead? No. WAI ARIA roles and attributes. WAI Sheesh. Sorry. There's late 90s. This is how it works. So WAIARIA or Y ARIA stands for Web Accessibility Initiative Accessible Rich Internet Applications. Memorize it. It's a set of Jeez, dude. I'm just give me the perma brew. It's over. It's done. Dunzo. Wait, where did I get all this money?
This is what I'm saying with, like, money gets out of control in this game. So if you play with double cash mode, like, you're an absolute goon. Like, what are you doing? I don't even like farming a lot of the time unless it's a boss, like, just for, right? Makes it arbitrary. So we're gonna wrap up this last little bit. So why ARIA provides additional information to assistive technologies about the purpose and structure of the content. ARIA roles are a set of predefined roles that can be added to HTML elements to define their purpose. This helps assistive technologies understand the content of the website. Examples include role equals tab, role menu, alert assigned to role. Right? I'm just trying to say it in a couple different ways for you. ARIA label and ARIA labeled by attribute. These attributes are used to give an element programmatic. I've still been trying to understand. Programmatic? It's not pragmatic. Programmatic or accessible name. These attributes are used to give an element an accessible name, which helps assistive technologies such as screen readers understand the purpose of the element. They are often used when the visual label for an element is an image or symbol rather than text. ARIA label shows you to... They are often used when the visual label for an element is an image or symbol rather than text. ARIA label allows you to define the name directly in the attribute, while ARIA labeled by allows you to reference existing text on the page. ARIA hidden attribute is used to hide an element from assistive technologies such as screen readers. For example, this can be used to hide decorative images that do not provide any meaningful content. ARIA expanded attribute used to convey the state of a toggle or disclosure feature to screen reader users. ARIA live attribute used to indicate that an element's content is important enough to require that any changes to the content should be announced immediately to screen reader users. This can include status messages like updating the number of results returned from a search, or an error message displayed after an unsuccessful form submission. Common ARIA states. Common ARIA states include ARIA has pop-up, ARIA checked, ARIA disabled, and ARIA selected. These attributes can be used to indicate the state of an element and help assistive technologies understand the content of a website. I'm getting bored not seeing any balloons getting popped, and I sincerely apologize for that. There's definitely a map I haven't played. Freaking... We'll just do an easy on this one. I will do chimps on that one. I don't want to focus on chimps right now. Chimps takes focus. Alright, where was I? Common ARIA states. Common ARIA states include ARIA has pop-up, ARIA checked, ARIA disabled, and ARIA selected. These attributes can be used to indicate the state of an element and help assistive technologies understand the content of the website. The ARIA controls attribute is used to associate an element with another element that it controls. I know it's the bottom of it. You're not funny. This helps assistive technologies understand the relationship between the elements. ARIA described by attribute is used to provide additional information about an element by associating it with another element that contains the information. This helps assistive technologies understand the purpose of the element. And you wouldn't believe it, we did it. We did that entire HTML review in about 3 times as long as it probably should have taken me. Us, however you want to look at it. But I use pageless format. That's why the number's so high. This is fantastic. I mean, this is really something. This is really something that we did here, everybody. Now it's time to relax. I can think of some active recall stuff that might kind of help us out. Right. can you tell me if you make either an unordered list or an ordered list, what kind of element would you nest inside of it to add a list element to that unordered list or ordered list? Give you a couple seconds while I fix this. Good, great, grand, fantastic. Everybody back at the bus. It was LI. The list element is LI that you nest inside of ordered list and unordered list. Can anyone tell me for HTML boilerplate, when you're setting up a document, what's the first thing you put at the top of the HTML document? You know, you can take as much time as you need. This is just a little pop quiz at the end. I'm not giving out any brownie points. Leo sure is, but they're worth about as much as my GameStop shares. Am I right, Leo? So the top of your HTML document should have a tag that says doctype HTML. And under that, let's see if you got this far. After that, what goes? It's the thing I always forget, which is the HTML tag with the lang set to whatever language you're going to be using. I always forget it. Don't know why. And then after that, you got a head, you got a body, right? And that's kind of it. That's boilerplate. I mean, you're going to have stuff up top. You're going to have the meta car set to UTF-8. You're going to have a title for your website, and then you're going to have a link to your style sheet. And that's the boilerplate. I want to hopefully, maybe in the next episode, instead of just reviewing the notes, maybe we can jump back and forth between concepts, and then just, I use Code Lobster for my IDE. I'm sure there's better ones out there, probably online ones that are better, but I like it, especially for kind of what I'm doing with it. So, yeah, maybe next stream we'll be able to do some live, not adaptations, but just, you know, kind of show you, kind of mess with stuff, and just have fun, especially for people who maybe find it intimidating to do that kind of thing. Right, it can look really easy. It's really easy to watch or read someone else's code. Being a programmer is all about problem solving. I'm also completely talking out of my ass right now. I've been programming for like barely at all, relatively, but you gotta solve problems, and half the problem is knowing all the steps to how to solve the problem, right? Your code is the solution to the problem you're trying to solve. Yeah, imagine if I lose on easy, that'd be a new one. I haven't used tough name. We'll move right past that. Yeah. Thank you to anyone that tuned into the stream. Gonna be uploading both parts that got cut up basically to the Schizofacto YouTube channel. And yeah, I kind of wanted to do chimps at the end here to kind of give you guys a taste. Maybe if you're not familiar with Bloons BTD6 all the way, a taste of what chimps kind of offers you, because like there's all this monkey knowledge that I'm kind of using, and I could disable it, but I won't. I could, but I won't. Why would I? Back it up. yeah, man. We did it. That's HTML basics. It's 2:43 in the goddamn morning. I hope everyone had a great Mother's Day. I know I sure did. And shout out all the moms out there. We'll be back. And we'll see you in the next one.